Hey guys, and welcome back to another one, and today we are going to take a quick look at this budget projector right over here. And before we begin, just let me mention that there are two versions of it. This one has Android, which we will take a look in just a few moments, but if you already have your Android TV box or your multimedia device that will transmit data, in this particular case video and audio, to this projector, then there is a exact same model but without Android, which is cheaper than this one, and I will leave a link down below so that you guys can take a look at that. Now, that being said, let's go straight for the unboxing. Once we open the package, we will find, as usual, a power cable, a HDMI cable, RCA cable, remote control, quick user guide, and foot screw, and of course the most important, which the Alfawise projector. Now, in terms of build quality, guys, what I can say is that this is a budget device, so we can expect budget parts. Now, the plastic, as you may see by some images, is not bad at all. This is the feedback that I can give. It has that rubberized feeling, so it's quite good for the price that we can get it, especially if you get the cheaper version, which is without the Android. Now, in terms of connectivity, guys, I will show you a few images right over there. In terms of the main connectivity, we will find at the back, and then on the right side we will only have the power input. At the front we will have an IR receiver, left the active cooling fan grill, and then at the top the menu keypad and also the focus and keystone rings. Finally, at the bottom we will have the 8 adjustment wheel and 1/4 inch screw to mount to any stand or tripod that we want to mount this projector. Now, in this particular case, when we turn it on, we will have Android right over here, which I will share with you a little bit more in just a few moments. First of all, in terms of image quality, guys, roughly 2.5 meters away from the projector to the wall, we can get a equivalent to roughly 85 inches screen, which is quite big. And as you guys may see by some images, which are not the same that I see with my own eyes, it has a decent definition. Now, as expected, guys, with low light environment, we will get the maximum out of this projector, like we do with any other projector. I did shot a few images. The best results are when we don't have lights at all, and then I did try to mimic a medium intensity light here on the office, and then finally I did increase my lights almost to the maximum, and as you guys can see, we start to lose a lot of definition and we almost don't see it. So, as most projectors, I would say that for dark environments it will be really nice, but if we go for any environment that has a lot of light, like I've got right over here right now, then we will lose the definition of the image. Now, in terms of the menu, guys, I will show you some images right over there. We can access it by using these buttons right here on the top, and once we get in the menu, we will have some functions like the picture mode, which we will find 3 or 4 different modes, color, temperature, the rotation, audio mode, turning on and off the timers, language, which we will find the most common languages right over there, including English and my own language, which is Portuguese. We can also restore to factory and so on. Of course, if we don't want to use the keys on the projector, we can also use the remote control to get access to the same option. And at the top we will also have the focus ring that we've seen previously, and of course the keystone ring that will allow us to adjust the inclination of the projector image. Now, in terms of Android, it's running Android 6, as you guys can see, and this is a pure version of Android, so we will have access to the Play Store and everything else that we have seen a lot here on the channel regarding Android devices. Now, in terms of hardware, it's running the AM Logic S905 with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of flash storage, and although it's not the fastest device that we have seen here on the channel, it's quite capable. Now, guys, just a pause right over here is that in terms of Android, I would say that the price difference is roughly 30 euros. So if we save a little bit more, we can get a lot more performance from a Android TV box, a decent Android TV box, and this is something that you will have to think of if you want to get the Android right over here built in with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of flash storage, which I always advise to get more than 1 GB, but for the basic usage it will work just fine. So just do the math and just check out if you want to use some basic usage on it, like Netflix for example, which worked great, although the maximum resolution it will be SD quality of 480p, just worked fine, as you guys can see right on the image. I also used Kodi 17.6, the latest version available, and it did play some 1080 movies that I've got on my network. I did use a few samples to show here on the image, but as you guys can see, fluid video, nice image quality. It was able to read H.264 and H.265 codecs at 1080 through Wi-Fi over my network, so no problems at all. And then finally, I also played a little bit of Respawnables, which is one of the games that we love here, and it was capable of doing some gaming. So what we can expect from this is that in terms of Android, it's not the fastest one, but we can, of course, for the basic usage, do it. I would advise that for those of you that only want to use Kodi, for example, or something very similar to it, like Netflix and so on and so forth, and are okay with this kind of quality and this resolution, then it is worth it to pay the extra and get Android. For those of you that are a little bit more geeky and want extra power, then probably getting the cheaper version of this projector and a beefier Android TV box, you will get the most balance of it and at the most competitive price to performance. Now moving to the sound, what I can say is that in terms of volume, it's not bad at all. It's quite loud. But as expected, in terms of quality of that sound, it's not that good. It lacks the bass, it lacks the fidelity that we are used here on any higher end device like laptops or even home theaters. Basically, we only have a set of speakers right over here inside this plastic case, which will give us a sound not so good. So my suggestion here is to connect it either to a home theater or use your headphones to connect to this machine to have the best result possible. Now, still on the sound, but right now looking at the noise, this is honestly my only complaint right over here, and the complaint is just in one sense. If you guys are looking for something that you will use on a noisy environment, or if you have movies or music loud all the time, then the fan of this device will not bother us at all. But on the other hand, if we are on a quiet environment, then the noise from this fan will become annoying, and it will ultimately break the experience that we are having with the image itself. Now, just comparing to one of the devices that I've got on one of my classrooms, it has the same noise level that I do use there. So if you are looking for something for a classroom, this will be fine, because we are talking to the students and especially the teacher, but the students as well, and the noise that we do in the classroom will eliminate the noise from this fan, at least the most part. On the other hand, as I said, if you are wondering if you can place something like this on a bedroom that at some point you want image but a lower volume, then the cooling fan will be a downside in that particular scenario. And this is honestly the only thing that I would say caution when purchasing it, because depending on the type of usage that we will give to it, it can be great or it can be not so great in terms of the noise that it makes. And that is it, guys. So in terms of conclusion, what I can say is that for the price, especially the version without Android, this is a great price to performance or price to quality in terms of projector. Now, the only downside that I see right over here is that if you are looking for something for a very quiet environment, then this is probably not the projector that you guys want, and probably you will need to find something less noisy, which probably will be a little bit more expensive in that particular case. But everything else, I do believe that for the price it's totally worth it, including the version of Android with the projector that it's right over here. And that is it, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful in some way. If it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is George, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.